Today I'm going to briefly talk about how to start a business in the state of Hawaii with the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. This is just meant to be a really brief overview of the general filing process. So there's two different types of businesses in any state. It's either foreign or domestic. Foreign means that you're a pre-existing business and you're looking to seek authority to conduct business within state borders, and a domestic is one that's foreign within the state. Regardless, both business types are going to have to file with the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. This can be done online or by downloading a PDF file. You'll also have to accompany whatever form you have to send in with a filing fee. If you're doing this online, it can be done with your credit card or a subscription to the Business Registrations Division's website, or if you're filing it in the mail, you're going to have to accompany it with a check. All filings should be done in compliance to Chapter 23 of the Hawaiian State Statutes. So this is a list here of all the different entity types you can file for. We have corporations, limited liability companies, or LLCs. We also have GPs, LPs, LLPs, and LLLPs. So if you want to click on each one of these, you'll get a detailed tutorial on how to file for those and all the variations of those as well. Business entity search is a function that we have a brief tutorial for here, and it can be done on the government website for Hawaii. This is just to ensure that the name that you're operating under, or the one that you've chosen if you're a domestic company, is not already registered by another business in the state of Hawaii. If this is the case and you try to file, you'll get rejected. So if you perform this search and you don't see any of your name in the list, then you should be fine. How to register in Hawaii. So the first step is, of course, choosing your name and performing the business entity search like we discussed before here. Also, businesses can perform a name reservation at this point. That'll reserve your name for 4 months before you file. So that could be super useful especially if you're like a foreign entity and you're wanting to make sure that no one registers under your name before you go and file with the Hawaii Secretary of State. Because if you do, perform business entity search and your name does show up, you'd still like to conduct businesses in Hawaii, you're going to have to file using a fictitious name for as long as you do business in Hawaii. So you've taken care of your name. Now you can download the forms or sign on to your online account and fill in the forms there. So we have all the different types here for domestic and all the different tutorials here as well for foreign. If you click on those, just like above, you'll get a more detailed tutorial for how to fill in the forms and do all the paperwork for each type of entity. Once this has been done and you've filled it out as completely and accurately as you can, you're going to have to pay the filing fee. So if you're doing this online, as I said before, it can be done with a credit card or a subscription to the website. If you're doing this paper filing, you have to do it through a check, and we have a list of all the filing fees here. It's actually pretty cheap in Hawaii in comparison to some other states. $50 is the most they're going to pay for, say a profit corporation or an LLC, and for an LLP, mostly it's $25, and the only exception being, of course, general partnerships at just $15. Once you paid the filing fee, foreign entities will have to either attach, if you're doing it online, attach a PDF file of the Certificate of Good Standing. It might be called Certificate of Existence or Status in the state that you come from or country that you come from, but it has to be attached to your application just to prove to Hawaii that in the state of your original formation, you've you're in good standing with that state and you filed all the necessary annual reports and you've conducted all your business lawfully. Once that has been done, then you can send all the documents into this address here, the Business Registration Division, and await correspondence, and that's all it takes. A few things we're going to touch on here is, as I talked about before, the name reservation. as I said, yeah, that's just to reserve your name for 120 days. It's going to cost you $8.50 if you decide to do this. I forgot to mention that before. Certificate of Good Standing, we sort of just talked about this, but it's you can also apply for one of these in the state of Hawaii if you're a domestic entity and you want to take your business elsewhere. Um, it'll cost you just $7.50 and can be downloaded in PDF form or sent to you in the mail. There's a few agreements: the corporate bylaws for a corporation, LLC operating agreement, and the partnership agreement. These are all pretty much the same thing. They're a set of bylaws under which you'll operate as a company or business. It's not going to be drafted for you, so you're going to have to download our template and fill it out, have all the members of your company agree to its terms, and then have each one file it for their own personal reference in the future. It's not illegal, or it's not legally required, although it is a legal document in that it's the only document that will dictate the ownership of the company, the capital contributions of the shareholders of your corporation, any other detail that can be referenced if necessary. And finally, the employment identification number. This is something that applies to all businesses in all states. Sometimes it's called the Federal Employer Identification Number. It's just used by the IRS to identify you if you're withholding any taxes. It's like a social security number. Without it, you're not going to be able to perform any kind of financial transactions. You won't be able to open a checking or savings account with the company name, register corporate credit cards, do anything like that. So you can see why that would be important. You can acquire it online or through a PDF application here. We have little tutorials for each one of those processes in these two links. So that's all there is to it, guys. I hope that was helpful. Best of luck to you.